Wake up in the morning, I just gotta get it. Wake up in the morning, I just gotta get it.
All right, welcome everyone to the Schoology Learning Podcast. Thanks for joining us. This is the podcast where we talk about some things we're hearing out in the world about education, as well as some tips and tricks about our favorite platform, which is, of course, Schoology. My name is Kelly Eady, and I'm joined by my colleague, Ericka Waterman.
Hey, Kelly. I'm so excited for us to take this time. I just remember how fun it was when I was teaching to take the lunchtime or, any little break that we had and just kind of talk with colleagues. So hopefully everyone can join us and just get a little chit chat about education and Schoology while they're at it.
Yeah, so let's get started. So, Ericka, we got to see each other for the second time in person
and I was so happy that I recognized you right away. And it was so great to see you in person again.
Yeah. And it's such a great event. Like, I've been going for many years. And so it was so great to have you because you're like, honestly, it was like rock star status of like people whispering, like, oh, Erica's here. So
It was so fun. I even took a selfie at one point because someone wanted to prove that she had gotten to talk to me to the people that she works with, which I thought was really cool.
Yes, that totally tracks. So I know we're going to be hearing from some of our own customers who presented at Connect Pennsylvania, aka ConnectPA. But I'm just curious, like hot takes, like what'd you walk away with?
Oh, yeah. Do you know the first thing is probably not what you're expecting me to respond with, but
okay.
I was amazed. I felt like I was walking through like a not a yearbook. I'm trying to think how to phrase it, but it was like all the different iterations of like Schoology swag over the years. You know what I mean? Like there was so much swag. I loved it. People were, were wearing their t-shirts and bringing their mugs and their bags and I don't know. It was really cool to see kind of like the Schoology evolution over the years.
Yeah, that's a good way. It was almost like a fashion show of past like t-shirts and swag and
yes, exactly. And it was so cool. There were some things that I'm like, I would love to have that. Like, that's so cool that you do that. So anyway, I just found that was a neat little,
they come decked out.
Something that I was not expecting. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then I think the other thing, and this happens every time I'm on site, which is rare, right? Like they keep me pretty locked into to my basement, just chained to the desk all the time. But it just is so invigorating to be around people who are using the product day in and day out and to hear how they're using it and like, oh, we love this part of it and that part of it, and we're using this part in this way. Like I oftentimes am always so critical of what I need to be like improving about the product that sometimes I forget that things are also really great about the product. Yeah. So it was just fantastic to be able to see that and see everybody interacting about how they used Schoology.
Yeah. Well, that's like a perfect lead in to hear from some of our customers that actually presented at ConnectPA. I'm going to start and ask first Chris Cromwell, if you could just introduce yourself really quickly and talk about kind of what you do at Westchester and a brief background with Connect Pennsylvania.
Certainly. So excited to join you today. My name is Chris Cromwell, and I'm an instructional technology coordinator for the Westchester Area School District. And I had the unique opportunity of attending ConnectPA as a teacher and learner before I moved into my admin role. Yep. So really, really excited just to meet with other people that are sharing about their learning and passion for Schoology. And then when I moved into the admin role, I started attending, bringing more people, and started presenting so that I could share my expertise and knowledge and really meet with other people that were in a similar role or providing similar support.
That's a great story. I didn't know that I'd kind of forgotten, Chris, you'd come first as an educator. Huh?
Yep.
Wow, you've grown along with it. That's awesome. And MaryBeth, how about you?
Hi, I'm MaryBeth Clifton. I'm also an instructional technology coordinator at Westchester Area School District. I've been at each of the Schoology PA since the very beginning, and we're making big plans for next year for number 10. So we need people to come and help us. But
Love that.
I've been here bringing teachers like Chris out of the classroom to come and experience, because this conference has all levels. So not just the beginning of how to create your class, but it also goes into assessment and LTIs, all different things. So it's a wonderful opportunity for our teachers.
So, and I know that you both have presented not just at ConnectPA, but, you know, nationally, internationally, we talk about something like ISTE. But I know that for ConnectPA, as you said, Mary, we've got MaryBeth, we've got a mix of people, right? We've got those who are newbies, those who have been with Schoology for a long time. And sometimes I think it's hard for us to come up with sessions sometimes because we are trying to reach a broader audience. So, but knowing that we do have that mix, I know that each of you did something this year that was targeted for a specific purpose and audience. And Chris, I'll start with you because I'm not sure when you started this, but you started doing a session that was just kind of a sharing session for system admins. Like, what was the origin of that? And
Yeah, so this is the second year that I've presented this roundtable for system admin. And what started that was 2 years ago. The first time I presented this session was providing a space to really celebrate the feature updates, because that's something that Schoology had really started giving a lot of good information. And I know as a technology person, I was worried that things slipped through the cracks, that I missed an email or a release, but also that I wanted to celebrate the releases that happened and the learning. So it was a roundtable where we went through the different releases that came out, and the other system admin said, hey, I love this feature. This is what worked for me. But the exciting part is they also said, and this is how I'm now leveraging this feature. And that sparked a conversation from another system admin who had used it in a different way, or was getting ready to turn that feature on, or hadn't thought about using it in that way. So it was a really great roundtable, sparked discussion, celebrating the releases and the updates as they came out throughout the year. And so I repeated that session again this year for a very, very successful time.
And Ericka,
what
I'm
a
sure you love
great-
hearing that.
And
I
we will
do,
repeat it
I
again
do.
next year because everybody
Yeah,
loves it.
I do love that concept. And, you know, it's even hard for me to remember doing the releases, that everybody's going to take it in a little bit different way, try it in a different way. Everyone's going to have a different learning. So how great to be able to come together and be able to share that. Just to me, that's one of the powers of having these user groups, right? Is just the ability to talk with others about the same product, just being used maybe a little differently in the districts. It's very cool.
And I will say one of the positives of the conference this year was having both of you in person to be able to talk to that, and Brenna from support to be able to talk to development support, to everyone, and talk about different ideas and different things that have happened and different things that we think. I know Chris, my partner Chris, always has good ideas and thoughts. So to be able to bounce them off of you, Ericka, and Brenna and Kelly is just, it's awesome. And I'm hoping that that partnership can continue in these state get-togethers as well.
Agreed. I found so much value in being able to see you all in person. It's just a different vibe, right? Than when we connect, even virtually, like right now, or, you know, via email or over support cases. This is, you know, getting a chance to actually sit down and see people and take time. Honestly, it was like I was able to take time to really talk to a lot of people about what they are experiencing. So good call out, MaryBeth.
And MaryBeth, you've presented on a lot of different topics over the years. Talk about, you know, kind of what you did this year and why you chose that particular topic, given your breadth of things you could choose from that you could present from at ConnectPA.
I really talked about collaboration in groups and collections this year. I find that sort of like our Google Drive folder, it can get to be a mess in Schoology. And that's not Schoology's fault. That's our poor planning. So I really wanted to talk about ways that we can work together to save it and putting together some protocols. So when we have specific roles in a collection, and for those of you that aren't familiar, we have groups and we have resources, and in resources you'll see collections. And it's sort of like, it's a special file folder that one person owns, and you can have people that can edit it and people that can view it. So we talked in our session about the roles and how those roles keep the collection alive. As you know, we have one person who's in charge of it, and that person, you know, we have a schedule for them to go in at least once a year, and they can go in and look at everything. We talked about, we just talked about how you share the things, that if it's something in there that was made, say, for all the language arts teachers, and they have to personalize it, they're going to copy that into their course, and they're going to edit it how they see fit. They're not doing anything, and they don't have the rights to do it in the collection. If it's something that everyone uses, doesn't get changed, you're just going to link to it. And then, of course, there's the collaboration piece. You're going to collaborate on it, you're going to leave it in there. And I think that was really good. And we talked about some of the common problems that happen, talked about how, like, perhaps when you're putting things in, you should put the year after it when you have new things, because as long as we keep going and we have a defined owner, then we're not going to wind up with dead folders, just like you wind up with dead links in the website, because we want all of our documents to be current for our teachers, because we want to help them. And it gets hard because we don't want to overwhelm groups like our new teachers coming in. Our new teachers coming in, we probably just want to show them that much at first, like just a little bit at first, and bring them into it. I'm not, you know, like, I do have to take them into the curriculum and instruction group when they come in. But then once they're in the group, I say, okay, let's look for your folder, for your curriculum, for your grade level, and keep them in there. And that has really helped. And I just developed a simple checklist for people that are doing this. And this is for newbies to get themselves together for groups or collections. And it's just, you know, identify, we talked about moving forward, find one group that you need to work on, or one collection. Agree on your naming conventions. You can't have people naming it science grade 7 and other people grade 7 language arts. We need to figure all of that out. We need to have our steward that's in charge of it and helps it. And then any archive stuff, any old things, we need to not be afraid to archive. I think that's really important. And the biggest thing people can do to help themselves with their resources is, at the end of the school year, please archive your course. That is the biggest thing, because when you go up the top to options and archive course, it strips away all your dates and everything that when they copy from their archived course, come over with it. You get a much, I try to talk to them about a much cleaner approach if you save it.
So you may have already, go ahead, Ericka.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's such good, like, reminders of the hygiene of the system. You know, we were also talking about just when customers they've implemented Schoology for a couple of years, and they're like, oh, now we're getting in the groove of this, right? And so then it just, like, you kind of forget that, oh yeah, you do have to maintain those things, or it becomes very unwieldy. So I think those are some great ideas to keep that.
I also reminded them that you don't have to keep all of your old archives. If you taught geometry last year and you taught it this year, this year's class is much better. Archive it, get rid of last year.
Or the other one. That's a good call. Good call. Sorry, Kelly, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, like, I'm sure MaryBeth already knows this, and Chris as well, but I think that your session actually tapped into where the origins of Schoology started. When you think about that college project with Jeremy
Yeah.
Friedman and the college buddies, it was all about a system to collaborate actually with note taking. It wasn't initially a kind of envisioned as an LMS, and it turned into that, but it sort of got back to the heart of that. So, Chris, for you, what's one takeaway that you would share with people, either from your session or maybe just from ConnectPA in general, that you would share?
My biggest takeaway from the day overall was this was just highlighting how Schoology and PowerSchool are constantly moving forward and trying to make adjustments. So from the keynote, where we got to see a little bit about the upcoming features that were coming, and you gave the background on the thoughts why and responding to the changes in education, to one of the other sessions that really a colleague of ours from another district highlighted accessibility features to really make sure that we understand that we're adapting to a new law that's going in effect here in Pennsylvania. And so that these tools are constantly being updated to change with the changing landscape of education. And that can be really exciting to stay on top of that and know that it's not getting out of date or stale, but always responding to the needs. And it is empowering and exciting in the spring for us to think about that. Not getting overwhelmed with that in the beginning of the school year. It's a nice time for us to think about what's coming and how we're going to keep adapting and changing.
Yeah. That's a good call out with the timing of everything, right? It very much felt like, like you said, spring, a new beginning. It's like, here's all the fresh stuff that's coming up. So that's a good call out. It was a great time to be able to come out to PA and get to see you all.
Yeah, I used to call it the spring training. We used to do it way back in the day because it was like who's on the roster this coming year? Like who's new, who's changed? And I have a thing, love baseball. So if I can fit it in, I'm going to beat that to death.
Yeah.
MaryBeth, what about you? What would be a takeaway you had either from your session you'd want to share with someone or just from the day in general?
I think one of the biggest things is that how I said we always make room for all learners is talking about organizing your Schoology course. You can't talk about that enough. I was at a session, and it was actually by another one of our colleagues, Kaylin Richards, that talked about best practices of Schoology and talking about that top third real estate in your course and how to be able to pin an announcement and your folder structure and what that means. I think that's just really important to always reinforce, no matter how long we've all used Schoology, because Chris and I still create courses in it for PD for our teachers on AI and other things, is just remembering how valuable that first third is.
Such a great call out.
I would like to echo that and celebrate. We were able to bring 7 teachers and 2 administrators. We brought 2 principals this year who really appreciated the learning and seeing from the teacher side. And our teachers were a first-year teacher in our district to a veteran teacher, and all were able to take away and share something. So we were really excited to bring a variety of participants to share, but also make sure that, and they said that they got something out of that as well.
Oh, that's really
we're
cool.
doing short, like 15-minute little interviews with them to collect all that was learned, so then we can share that with others, and also our admin team, so that they can see what the value was for these people that went, that it's not just for teachers, that administrators can learn too.
Oh, that's great. Was that the biggest group that you all have taken to connect?
This has been our biggest group.
Okay, I was going to say.
And it was just secondary
awesome.
teachers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we are obviously looking forward already to next year, big 10 years for ConnectPA. But just wanted to thank both of you, not just for joining us today, but also for all the stuff that you've shared over the years and how you've helped other people, not just in your school district, but in the neighboring school districts and really across the nation. Really think thoughtfully about what this looks like when you do it well, and not forgetting the fundamentals. because I think it's easy for us to jump into the bells and whistles and
Yeah.
don't forget about folder
Which is
structure.
right.
It matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kelly, I'll
Naming
add one
conventions.
other anecdote that recently came to us is we have a new assistant superintendent who came from a previous role, and in his previous school district, they were adopting Schoology, and so preparing for that, he brought teachers to a previous ConnectPA before they
Oh,
adopted, and that was
yeah.
when he first met us and attended one of our sessions. And from his role, he said that was just so helpful for them to know that they were on the right track and getting ready. And now he came over, has since joined our team, and is highlighting and supporting us as we continue with that. So that was another really
Oh.
great ConnectPA anecdote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
small,
absolutely.
the small, big world of the community that we have with
Correct.
Schoology. Well, thanks
Correct.
both. I just again want to thank you for joining us and sharing, and looking forward to what happens next year.
Why, thank you. Can I put in one more plug though?
You may.
Connect Ohio
Oh
is
yeah.
an online conference. It happens in June. You may need to check my dates. I think it's 10th and 11th, but it's a wonderful conference to learn everything Schoology. And since it's online, you can learn from your desk.
Hey, good plug. I think
That is,
Eric and I are both
Sorry, how to do
joining
it.
that one virtually.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good, good, good. We'll be there.
Yeah.
Surprise,
That's
surprise.
awesome.
Surprising.
I love it.
Thanks, guys. We really appreciate you.
Oh, well, thanks, Mary Beth. We appreciate that. And I actually want to also introduce another guest from ConnectPA, Jennifer Scudder. Jennifer, if you could just tell us a little bit about you and your role at your current district.
Yeah, so I work for State College Area School District. We're smack dab in the middle of the state, right near Penn State. And I'm an instructional technology coach. There are 3 of us for the district K to 12, and what we do is we just try and help the teachers utilize all this technology and integrate it into their instruction and their administrative duties in a way that is helpful to them and supports the learning.
Well,
Good
Eric and
job.
I,
Yeah.
yeah. And you're at the high school level, Jennifer? Is that right? Are
So
you at
K to 12 actually.
K-12? Okay, so okay.
Yeah.
The reason I asked was because I know that when we talk to some instructional tech coordinators, they're focused on a specific area. So you see it all, basically.
Yes. Yeah. And we're
That
starting
makes it even a
Schoology with,
bigger job. Yeah.
Yeah. and we're starting Schoology with secondary. So
Yeah.
we're getting that rolled out before we even start talking about elementary. Yeah.
Okay,
Fair enough,
very
fair
good.
enough.
So Eric and I were talking about what a great event ConnectPA is, and it's got a long history in the state. So what's your background with it? Have you been attending for years? Was this your first one?
This was my 3rd one. So
Okay.
we picked up Schoology about 4 years ago, and
Okay.
we've been doing a slow rollout. So when we picked it up, that was one of the first things I asked was, where can I go to get some training
Oh,
and meet other
yeah.
people who are already using this? Because the more you know what other people do actually when they're using it for real and not just what you think you're going to do is really helpful for smooth implementation and being able to give people actual solutions to their problems when they come up.
It's why I like going, because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, you're using it that way? I
Right.
built it this way, but okay. Yeah, that's great. That's great. So I agree.
And have you presented before, Jennifer, or was this your first time presenting?
No, I presented last year on
Okay.
the templates.
Okay, awesome. Oh, another popular. Yeah,
Oh,
Erica?
I'm like, Jennifer, you're quickly becoming my favorite presenter, covering all the, in my, they tend to be the difficult sometimes topics of course templates and Google integration, just because there's been a lot that's happened with them. There's a lot of shifting. There's a lot of mental shifting that has to happen with them, a lot of change management. So
Yeah.
kudos for picking the topics that you have.
So tell us, we kind of alluded to it already, but what was your session this year and why did you decide to present on that?
So I presented on the new Google LTI that incorporates the Google pieces into the Schoology assignment. And I did that because in my role, this is what I get to do all day. So like we really do kick the tires, we really do play with all the toys, and we've hit all the buttons. And so we had just done all of this work to get our teachers ready to use this tool. And it seemed like it was one of those things that people would appreciate having the information before they stepped into it and maybe didn't have time to do all the playing before they turned it on.
Yeah, that's so beneficial to have somebody kind of lead the pack, if you will. Because of course, you know, when Google and I were meeting, we're like, this is going to be so easy. They're just going to click here. It's going to make so much sense. Like, duh. It's just going to be like turn and burn, right?
Yeah.
And so to have a district say, no, we had to sit with this. We had to really look at it. We had to look at how it was going to shift for our teachers. Here's the lessons we've learned. Very important. And I think that's a good call out of why these user groups can be so powerful is when you do get that perspective of like, okay, so you got what they released. Now here's how you put it into practice. So yeah, definitely. I could see that being really valuable for this session attendees.
Yeah, and especially because there's those two grading options. And so our teacher's inclination was to go right to the Google one because they're like, because that'll be exactly the same.
Yeah.
But, you know, we also had to talk to them about why that Schoology grading option also presented some real benefits and why they would want to potentially use it over the other one. And they don't really think about it because they've just, they're going to go with what they know.
Yeah, that's a really good point as well, is that we're creatures of habit, right? Especially in education, I feel like teachers tend to, this looks familiar, let's do that again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for this last conference, what would be a takeaway that you would share? It can be something from the session you presented, or maybe something you just took away in general from the conference.
The thing I'm always looking for when I go is what other people have to say, right? We want to talk to other people who are using things and we want to talk to them about, we're having this problem. Have you figured this out? So the takeaway for me is always the connections that you get to make with other people and the extra help that you can get from them and the cool ideas for things you didn't even know people did. And you're like, oh, that would be really interesting way to do that. So just all those real world things that we learn from each other. That's why I go.
Love that. Is there any one thing you want to share with the audience? Like, hey, did you know, or I learned, or anything like a new specific one that you wanted to follow up with eventually? Maybe not right away, but for the next school year.
I think something that was really interesting that I don't know that a lot of people would be ready for was there was a presenter there who had done a ton of work creating a Google Gem that would help teachers create layouts for their pages, because definitely when students move over to Schoology, they were like, why is all the words so tiny? And so having a way to format that page to be more visually interesting for students is a great thing and something that would be helpful to dig into deeper.
Huh, that's interesting.
I did. Yeah. Now I wish I would have learned more in ConnectPA about that. I'm fascinated.
Well, I think ConnectPA is aptly named, as you said, Jennifer, since the whole point really is to connect with other people and to learn more. And then I love the way that the community, especially in that area, continues to support each other throughout the school year. And I feel like sometimes I feel like when we go to ConnectPA, it's kind of like going back to summer camp where people are like, oh, hey, great to see you. So always good to connect in person. We had, I think before you joined, we had to do virtual during COVID, and it was fine, but it just, obviously wasn't the same. So thank you for sharing your expertise at ConnectPA, and hope to see you next year. Excited to see what you might present next year. And thanks, honestly, thanks for just taking some time to talk with us. It was really great to connect with you in person there, and also just to hear what you offered as part of your session.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
We'll make sure to tag you to present on whatever the most complicated thing is that we release this year, so that way you can be like, I'm on it.
I'll kick the tires. I'll push all the buttons.
I appreciate that, Jennifer. Yeah, it was great meeting you, and really appreciate your insights from the ConnectPA.
Yeah, it was great to be able to talk to both of you. That's actually, I think, another real benefit is you're actually there and people can see you. And that's not something you necessarily often get. So.
Well, thanks for joining this episode of the Schoology Learning Podcast. hope to see you next time where we'll talk about some more topics of interest and, of course, talking about our favorite platform, Schoology.
And in the meantime, if you click on the user toolbox at the bottom of the Schoology page, there are lots of resources out there, including other episodes of this podcast to listen to. Until next time.
And hope to see you next time. Thanks all.